Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Bob. Welcome to the channel. Coming along with me for a little drive here. We're going to talk about some breaking news that just came out today, and that has to do with Tesla and it has to do with Apple. So we're going to get pulled out of here, um, leaving work, headed home. Actually, headed to my parents' house, but that's beside the point. Anyway, so yeah, we're just a quick little. Here we got to stop here. So here's one. FSD did not know this is like a flashing red in a school zone. Um, so I just pulled out of a school parking lot, so it's hard to know that it's still sitting in the school zone. But anyway, so we're running just a little quick FSD update right now, running version 14.1.4. I see that on Twitter that 14.1.7 is starting to get pushed out wide. So hopefully we'll have that soon in this car. But anyway, that's not the point of this video. So you're just going to come along with me as I ramble. We're going to head down the interstate with self-driving here in my 2024 Tesla Model Y. But what we're going to talk about is the news that just came out today, and that is apparently Tesla is now testing out Apple CarPlay inside of Teslas. So this has always been a big piece of the Tesla sphere. Um, people are people have asked, when is Tesla ever going to adapt CarPlay into Tesla vehicles? And the answer for the longest time has always been no, right? So kind of before we dive deep into that, what you have here, and when we're looking at our screen on a Tesla, is Tesla's operating system, basically. So I have my maps, I got, my car, I can swipe around. But then the biggest thing that comes with, that we look at with it is all the apps that you do get um, inside of the car itself, right? And we already have stuff like Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, you have Audible and YouTube Music and all these different pieces, messaging. I can make phone calls, right? So if I want to call people, so in terms of what the system does is what CarPlay already does is what Teslas can't do. So for the longest time, I guess at this point, it's always been that Tesla's never going to integrate CarPlay into their operating system. And there's been workarounds that you can go on and look for. People who have ran CarPlay inside of their Teslas. Basically, what they're doing at this point is going to um, the browser. I can't even find the browser. There it is. Going to the browser, going to certain websites. I think probably even paying for some type of subscription to basically run CarPlay within the browser. Still connecting to your iPhone, um, and then being able to run CarPlay within the browser itself. Um, so people for years have asked, when is Tesla going to integrate and allow CarPlay to come into their cars? And there's a lot of people who say that are out there that'll post on X and all over the internet about how they won't buy a car without CarPlay. So that question constantly keeps coming up in terms is Tesla going to do this? And for the longest time, it's always been no. Again, Tesla has its own operating system, and you already have those components. I can pull up Apple Music, right? I have my Apple Music library. There's my podcasts. So the big things that you would want inside of a car for CarPlay. So like my previous car was a 2012 Honda CRV, and pretty basic. Jump from that to this. Um, that car did not have CarPlay. I did things, got a little like CarPlay mount, external type of mount that you can get or unit that I could put up on the car so that I could still run CarPlay, but then I had wires everywhere and all this stuff, right? Instead of integrating into it. So I said for the longest time before I thought about getting a Tesla was, well, my next car is going to have a car that has CarPlay, right? Because for me, I'm a big Apple guy. Here's my Apple Watch. Here's my iPhone down here, right? I'm actually recording this video on another iPhone. I have an iPad, a Mac, right? I'm a big Apple dude. So CarPlay could be a pretty big deal for me, right? But then I made the switch over to the EV world, into electric, got a Tesla, and now looking at the system I have, I basically have lost that urge to say, well, I need a car with CarPlay. But there are a lot of people out there that constantly say, that they won't get a car if it doesn't have CarPlay in it. And so Tesla, I think at this point is what we're seeing online. So Bloomberg, Mark Gurman, he's a big tech reporter um, in this country. Covers a lot of Apple. If you're well versed in the Apple world, reports a lot on Apple and rumors and what's coming from Apple. Probably has insider information from a lot of people in the company. He's the one that put it out today that Tesla is currently testing and going to deploy Apple CarPlay into their Teslas. And the biggest reason is because Tesla is seeing a little bit of the decline in sales of vehicles. And so Tesla's looking for a way to boost those sales. And one of the things I think they probably more than likely have received the most feedback on is the fact that their cars don't have CarPlay. If that's really going to be a big thing, you look at cars driving across, the country, your cities, your towns, wherever, and most of them are now running whether CarPlay, Android Auto, some type of integrated system like that into their vehicles. And there are some auto manufacturers who are looking at getting rid of CarPlay out of their cars, right? Because they're all trying to go to some type of proprietary type of system, something like what Tesla has. So you're using their software and their stuff, right? That's obviously what is going on here. But like I said, we have Apple Music, we have podcasts, right? We have all these other apps, Sirius XM, and all these types of things inside of this system. But Tesla's a company that's in it to make money. And so they're looking at, seems like, different ways that they can boost their sales of their vehicles. And apparently, from this report from Bloomberg and Mark Gurman, Apple CarPlay is the way that they think they can probably do that. And so don't know when that's going to come necessarily. But rumors floating around on looking at X today is that it's probably going to be a part of the holiday update that comes here within the next month, especially if they are actually currently posting about it right now. So it's going to be a pretty big deal. I mean, there's going to be some things here, and I'm probably going to get yelled at by my car here, so I'm trying to pull up X right now to kind of look at some of these posts. So while that's loading, I'm in like a dead area right now. We're jumping on the interstate here. Like I said, we're headed down, running version 14.1.4, 14.1.7. Looks like it's going wide release right now. I don't have it yet, but hopefully we'll get it soon. Now it's loaded. Okay. So what I'm looking for here is this post about place like force. I know. Don't do this at home, folks. Now I can't find it, but that's fine. No, here we go. So, right, new details on CarPlay that is coming to Tesla. I'll put the X post here up on the screen right now. It would run within a window side by side with Tesla OS. So more than likely, running right here alongside the main component of the car, right? Obviously with the, from blinkers and speed and all these types of things, it's not going to replace necessarily what Tesla has. And so it's going to be like that idea, almost like it's running in a browser. And I'll throw some shots of that up as well. But basically, it'll run within a window side by side with Tesla's own operating system. You're going to have wired or wireless connection supported. So you can either plug in your phone to run CarPlay, right, if you're new to Teslas. So down here, there's a couple USB ports behind me as well. Other versions have different areas as well. So either wired or wireless connection, no access to lower level features like FSD. So I don't know what that means, is like you can't run FSD while you're running CarPlay, or I don't have access to FSD features, right? If I'm pulling this up, and I want to go to the autopilot settings. So I think that's what that means. I don't think it means you can't run full self-driving while CarPlay is running. Because at that point, then I don't think a lot of us are going to want to run CarPlay in our cars. I run self-driving every day, going to work, going home, right? makes life simpler. So I think that's what that means. I'm not going to be able to pull up these settings, these lower level settings for things like full self-driving, right? It's still running Tesla and then Apple over here. And then it could be, like I said, the main feature of the holiday update that'll probably be coming out here in the next month. So the biggest question for a lot of us is this something that we want? Is this something that we want? So if there's something you want, comment about it. Let's engage in this on this video. But is it necessary to put Apple CarPlay into our cars, into our Teslas? Part of me, like I said, I was a big fan of wanting to get CarPlay. I put, basically not fake version, but ran CarPlay on a screen inside my Honda before I got this Tesla. So, but now that I've been driving this Tesla, I'm kind of torn. Will I use something like CarPlay, or will I just keep using what I normally use? Right? Like I said, I got a podcast queued up right here out of Apple Podcasts. I have access to a map. I can do all the things I need to do right there. I can do, Audible and YouTube Music. There's Sirius XM. I can pull up my calendar. It's connected to my calendars. I can make phone calls, right? So it's not like I'm missing any of the features that would have came with CarPlay. But we'll test it out. We'll have fun with it and see if it's something that I want to do from that point. So what are your thoughts? Is it going to be a big deal? Are people going to run CarPlay alongside their Tesla operating systems? I guess the only time's going to tell as this comes out more. So we'll see what happens. But that's all I got for that end of it. I'll go ahead and just speed the rest of the video up. If you like watching drive, you can watch the drive all the way. Like I said, I'm headed down to my parents' house to pick up my son. It'll park in their driveway as well. But that's all I got in terms of the Apple CarPlay side of things for this video. So if you like what you've seen, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.